What if I told you that people do not follow what you say? They follow what you do. Not your words, not your intentions, not even your values. They follow your behavior. Because behavior is the most honest expression of who you are. And as a leader, you are always being watched. Hello, and welcome back to Leadership Reflections, a Mentium podcast series where we explore leadership from the inside out. I am your host, Madiama. And in this episode, we are stepping into the fifth pillar of the Mentium Alignment Framework, behavior. Because leadership is not proven by what you believe. It is revealed by how you show up. Let's get started. Let me ask you a simple question. Have you ever met someone who said all the right things but didn't live them? They spoke about discipline but lacked consistency. They spoke about respect but treated people poorly. They spoke about growth but resisted feedback. And something felt off. That feeling is misalignment. Because when your behavior does not match your values, people don't just get confused. They lose trust. Behavior is where alignment becomes visible. It is where your identity, your values, your beliefs, and your skills come together in real life. So if you want to know the truth about your leadership, don't just listen to your words. Observe your behavior. Here's something every leader must understand. People are always watching, not in a negative way, but in a natural, human way. They observe how you handle pressure, how you respond to challenges, how you treat people when things are difficult, how consistent you are when no one is watching. Because leadership is not built in big moments. No, leadership is built in small, repeated actions. You may give one powerful speech, but people will believe what you do on a random Tuesday. When things are not planned, when things are not perfect, that is where leadership is tested. And that is where behavior speaks the loudest. Now, let's talk about the gap between intention and behavior. Many leaders have good intention. They want to lead well. They want to support others. They even want to make an impact. But there is a gap that often appears, the gap between intention and behavior. You may intend to be patient, but react with frustration. You may intend to be disciplined, but fall into inconsistency. You may intend to listen, but you keep on interrupting others or even dismiss them. And here's the truth. People experience your behavior, not your intention. Your intention lives inside you. Your behavior is what others feel. So leadership requires awareness. It requires you to ask, is how I am showing up aligned with who I say I am? Because alignment is not about perfection. It is about conscious correction. You see, behavior is not random. It is patterned. It is built through habits. What you do consistently becomes who you are. If you consistently prepare, you become reliable. If you consistently listen, you become respected. If you consistently follow through, you become trusted. But the opposite is also true. If you consistently delay, if you consistently avoid, if you consistently react emotionally, that becomes your leadership pattern. So the question is not, what do I do sometimes? The real question is, what do I do consistently? Because consistency creates identity, and identity shapes leadership. If you want to change your behavior, you don't need to change everything. You need to change what you repeat. Small habits, repeat it daily. That is how behavior transforms. Allow me to talk to you about my friends, at Pure Impact Services. They are a professional, knowledgeable, compassionate, and dedicated team ready to serve you with all your accounting and tax filing needs. Whether you are a W-2 recipient, employee, or a 1099 recipient, self-employed individuals or business owners, they have your back. Visit their website at pure-impact-services.com or call them at 619-527-9229 and tell them I sent you. Moving on, here's something powerful. As a leader, you don't just set expectations with your words. You set the standard with your behavior. If you expect discipline, but you are inconsistent, people will follow your inconsistency. If you expect respect, but you don't model it, people will mirror your behavior. Leadership is not taught first. It is modeled. People don't do what you say. They do what they see. So the real question becomes, what standard am I setting without even speaking? Behavior does not only affect you, it affects everyone around you because behavior is contagious. Your energy, your consistency, your discipline, it spreads. If you show up with focus, others align. If you show up with calm, others feel safe. If you show up with integrity, others rise. But if you do the opposite and you show up with inconsistency, that spreads too. This is how culture is created, not by policies, not by words, but by repeated behaviors. So as a leader, you are not only managing yourself, you are shaping an environment. Pay attention to that. Now, let's do a reflection exercise here. I want you to take a moment and reflect. What are 3 behaviors that defines me as a leader today? Number 1, number 2, and number 3. You name all of them. Now ask yourself, are these behaviors aligned with the leader I choose to become? And then what is one behavior I need to improve starting today? Because transformation does not begin with big change. It begins with one decision. Repeat it daily. In closing, I want to leave you with this. Leadership is not what you say. It is what you do repeatedly. Your behavior is your message. And whether you realize it or not, people are always reading it. So lead with intention, but more importantly, lead with aligned behavior. If this episode spoke to you, take a moment to reflect, apply, and share. And if you are ready to go deeper, join us inside Mentium, where we grow through coaching, courses, and the community around us. Until next time, keep leading, keep growing. Take care of yourself and your loved ones. I am Madiama, and this is Mentium. Peace.